like, oh, I'm just over caffeinated. And when I first got a blood sugar monitor, I tested my blood sugar and it was 63, which is very low. And so I wasn't over caffeinated, I was hypoglycemic. Then another one was I used to carry food in my purse or have almonds in the car. I was always having food. I always had food on my person because I used to say, I'm just a foodie. I just like food. No, honey. Like you have, again, your blood sugar is crashing. I used to eat before I went out to eat. I used to eat before I left my house. I was always thinking about my next meal. So I'd be with friends, we would go out to eat, and I would be like, when am I going to eat again? Where I would be nervous about it. And I always thought this was just because I hated feeling hungry, because hunger in my body, I didn't know that hunger in a healthy body feels like, oh, I'm hungry. I could eat. It's like, oh, maybe my stomach or just, oh, I'm just a little hungry. That was not the way my body experienced hunger. My body experienced hunger in a way where it was like the gas light was going on in the car, like alert, alert, low fuel. And so what was happening was my brain was starting to struggle to get energy. My mitochondria struggling to get energy because the different systems in my body, the hormones were kind of blocking that from happening, which we could go into later. But I experienced hunger as a blood sugar crash or a blood sugar dip. And so it felt horrible in my body for me to feel hungry. So I would feel often dizzy, shaky, anxious, hangry, brain fog, feeling weak or tired, fatigued, difficulty concentrating. Some people get headaches, heart palpitations, cravings, and then also intense and urgent hunger. So that urgent hunger is a sign like we don't have energy right now. We need fuel fast. And so when your body is experiencing this dip in energy, it's going to crave fast energy. So often that looks like some form of a refined carbohydrate or just, oh, I'm just getting really snackish. I'm not able to say no to the muffins in the break room type of a thing. I'm not able to put off my hunger. I used to hear people say, oh my God, I think I forgot to eat today. And I'm like looking at them like, what the hell? I've never had that experience in my life. What you mentioned about eating before bed, it goes back to something bigger. So in the world of blood sugar, going back to the like hyper and hypo. So what we're talking about now is mostly for people who experience some sort of hypoglycemia. And some people can have spikes and crashes and so have a combination of these things. And then again, there are people who have high blood sugar. So my pre-diabetics, my type 2 diabetics who experience hypoglycemic dips even in the same symptoms, but their numbers are technically in the normal range. So I had a client who came to me and she's like, I've been hypoglycemic since high school. She's now retired, post-menopause. And I was like, can you put on a CGM before we change anything? Her blood sugar was spiking to 300, 350, and her hypoglycemic dips were around 170. And I go, what happens when it dips like this? She goes, I feel like I'm going to die. I feel like I'm going to pass out. And then she has juice or something like that to put her blood sugar back up. And so she's been on this roller coaster for decades, and the doctor missed the fact that she had severe type 2 diabetes because she came in and it's, oh, I feel low blood sugar. I don't know how. So I consider that a functional hypoglycemia. So when people are experiencing these low blood sugar symptoms, and no matter what number they're getting to, I consider that still a metabolic hypoglycemia because the metabolic hormones in the background, you're feeling hypoglycemia. You are feeling exactly what anyone whose blood sugar is dropping down to 30 is feeling. You're feeling that same thing because the brain is struggling to get energy. It's just at a different level. It's like the thermostat has been turned all the way up. So we have to treat you as if you have hypoglycemia. And so so if you have any of those dips, I put you into the hypoglycemic category to help treat you, to help you heal. Or I'm not allowed to treat anyone, to help regulate your blood sugar. So then people whose blood sugar is high, maybe they're pre-diabetic, type 2 diabetic, and they do not get any of those dips, I put them in the hyperglycemia category, the high blood sugar category. Those people can do all the things that we hear about for insulin resistance, high blood sugar, things like intermittent fasting, high intensity workouts, building muscle, going in the sauna, doing cold exposure to a reasonable degree, especially for women. We don't need it to be that cold, but not eating between meals, not snacking before bed. Those strategies, lowering carbs, getting into ketosis, like all of that, amazing for these people with high blood sugar. But what's happened is that many people have overstressed their bodies. And so maybe they've done those strategies too much without having a nourishing component. And there's too many stressors also happening in the background. And so the people who have the hypoglycemic are showing signs that their stress bucket has overflowed and that they're not able to recover from the stressors that I just talked about. So lowering carbs, ketosis, fasting, workouts, cold, heat, exposure, all of those things are actually hormetic stressors. So they're stressing the body a little bit so that it adapts and gets stronger. So if I did one bicep curl, it's not enough stress to tell my muscle to adapt and get stronger and bigger. If I do 1,000 bicep curls, I might tear my bicep. I will not recover for days. That's too much stress. But if I maybe did 10 really strict bicep curls, maybe that would be just the right amount of stress to tell my body to, hey, adapt and get stronger because this girl's going to pick up some heavy things. So that concept of hormesis, we have to look at on a person-to-person basis. Yeah, their blood sugar is often just going higher. And they're like, everything I used to do is no longer working. And that's when I usually send them to Karen Martell or someone to get hormone replacement because it really, that estrogen especially really helps to resensitize the cells to insulin. And so then their blood sugar levels can come down. I do also see other things affecting people who postmenopausal, perimenopausal women that I think that is just a general thing happening to us in the state of our world in 2026. And these two things are our light environment and our stressors. So there has been a significant decrease in how much time we spend outside. And then we're told to fear the sun and wear sunscreen all the time. And that's blocking us from getting UVB light and natural vitamin D from the sun. And I will say that about 90% of my clients who come see me are already taking vitamin D. The supplements are not the same as what gives life to all life on Earth, which is the sun. And so I'm not suggesting we fry ourselves, but I am suggesting that a lot of the research is showing that a lack of sun exposure is increasing risk of all-cause mortality. A lot of the lifestyle that we experience of being indoors, avoiding the sun, and then being just inundated with artificial blue light, that narrowband blue light that it comes from our devices, our light bulbs. You can see the lights behind me if you're watching this on video. That's lights. An orange one. That's a red one. And I have an old-fashioned incandescent over there because I want all of my lights to have infrared light with them. Our modern light bulbs are LEDs. There's no infrared in those, and so it's just this blue light. There's a really big difference between a therapeutic healing diet when you're in a healing phase with your blood sugar versus a maintenance state. When someone is hearing all this information, it's like, cool, so I have to cut out everything I love for the rest of my life? No, you do not. But a healing phase is going to be really different. You are going to, if you want to heal, have to set some boundaries, have to cut some foods out, have to say no to some things, have to reduce quantities of things. And that can allow you to have the fruit in the summer and tolerate it. And it can allow you to have the ice cream, because ice cream is my favorite food, once in a while, and it not be a big deal. It not cause a huge blood sugar crash, or it not cause me to be craving all the time.
Keto.
A powerful, temporary, therapeutic protocol, not a diet, not a lifestyle.
Snacking.
There's no such thing as a healthy snack. I love mini meals. I like that concept instead if you need them. But snacking is not good for people who have higher blood sugar, but maybe need it temporarily for people who have blood sugar crashes.
Breath work.
I personally like calming breath work. I don't like the arousing one, but it can be really important to help regulate your nervous system and calm your body, bring yourself into a parasympathetic state.
Blood sugar monitors.
Can be really helpful, but if you are dysregulated and fearful every single time you check them, maybe you can pause it.
Heavy metal detox.
I think that we need to redox before we detox. We really need to get outside and get our bodies out of a cell danger response in order to have the natural detox capabilities of our body upregulated instead of going in and pushing all these detox supplements and often being left with a lot of histamine symptoms when we're doing that because we're fighting against our body's protective cellular response.
Fasting
can be really helpful for people with high blood sugar, high insulin, or high leptin, but I recommend that people do not skip breakfast because then they're running on stress hormones all morning and then eating in a window that's much later in the day where we don't have as good of a glucose response. So if you want to fast, especially if you're a midlife woman, I recommend to do a skip dinner or early dinner instead.
Microplastics.
I don't know on this one. Just
that's okay. Mold
is something that I'm dealing with currently, and it's a big one, and it drives a lot of hypoglycemia in clients and a lot of panic, anxiety, and is a really silent problem for so many. And yeah, it's a rough one.
Hormone replacement therapy.
So important for women. Big fan.
Apple cider vinegar.
I think it's a little overrated, but I do find it to be helpful. It's not your sole protocol for helping your blood sugar, but it can improve your blood sugar responses to meals. And one thing I really like about it is the digestive benefits when you have it in a very concentrated form. So about a tablespoon in a very small glass of water right before a meal can help increase stomach acid and bile flow, which supports better breakdown of food. So it has multiple benefits, but a lot of people will do it in a really diluted glass of water. Some people feel really helped from it, so keep it if it's working for you. But I know a lot of people who don't tolerate it either, and they're like, oh no, I can't do it.